Welcome back. So now it's time to show you some phone, right? So as I said you before that you can do an Android development in a and testing in a Mac or in a Windows PC. So now I am trying to show you in this session how you will really demonstrate your Android app to different people in a screen. So maybe if you are a manager or marketing guy who is taking your Android phone somewhere and you're going to showcase a demo, or you are creating a demonstration, or this will help you, or you wanted to display in projector, etc. This will help you. And also I'm going to show you certain things that which is really required when doing your testing in a real device. For that also I'm going to use this session. Okay, now as I said earlier, you might have already got Android SDK and you might have already ran Eclipse, and then at least once you might have ran the emulator or created a test project. I assume that, and I go to this session. If you don't really have Android SDK installed and your emulator is not running, you should really go back to the session or find the session with setting up your Android and emulator first. So that is how it goes. Now if you really installed everything perfectly, and then if you do this ADB devices ADB, and you have to really connect your cable with your phone in your Mac or PC, and then do this ADB devices. It will run the daemon and it will show you an emulator or a phone which is running in there. So if I'm running an emulator itself and a phone also, it will show two devices here. And in Android at a time you have to play with only one device, so you can close the emulator and do this at this point in time. So because in automation and all that, it will really target only one device. So if you're running in your emulator already, pause this video and close the emulator and go with only device. Okay, that is how it goes. And now I am showing you this screen from an image screenshot, because this is not my it's not a Windows system, it's a Mac, so I'm showing you this. So this is how it will look, and make sure that you had given your Android home path, Java home path, in your environment variables. So that is been covered in the Android initial setup session. That is why I said you should really watch that before going to this session. And now I downloaded an application, small Java applet. So that is Android Screencast. Android Screencast. This is an app which I downloaded and I use it for demonstration purpose. And anyway, I'm going to give you a demonstration also in this screen. That is why I'm also showing you this. So if you see, install the Android SDK, so it will take you to, if you look at the bottom of the browser, it will show you developerandroid.com/SDK/index. That is where it will take you. And then you should really connect your device through USB cable and ensure it is detected with ADB devices like this. And if it is not really detected, then a list of devices attached, it will show empty. So you should really make sure that you fix that before going to anything else. So that is how it goes. Sorry about that, I clicked on that. So now make sure you have Java runtime Env 5 or later installed. So I really asked you guys before that you download and install the latest Java SDK JDK 1.7 and give a Java home path in your environment variables. So I asked that in the previous sessions. So I assume that, or I presume that you have Android and Java with you already. So that is how this will work. So click here, you can launch it by typing. So since I already downloaded, so I just going to pull out that one from my Android downloads. So I just do this, and this will happen in Windows and Mac also. So you should do this and press run. So it will really try to fetch the device list using my Android home path. Now you could see that I have an emulator running here, and I have a device connected. It's a Samsung S2, so I can select one of them. So I do this, I click OK. So now I get a small screen that displays my device, and I just want you to arrive this particular thing because I'm going to showcase you something else. So I tap on the settings, application. So as I told you before, everything is an application inside an Android, right? So I go there, I navigate down, I see this developer options, and I go there, and I see that USB debugging is on. Developer options is on in the top, USB debugging is on. Okay, because my USB debugging is already on, that is how the application managed to take my screen and then display it out there, or else it will not work. So if your screen is not displaying there, then you should check your device and then make sure that you have USB debugging on, and then you will be able to see your screen. And so I just go down a bit, and then so what is really happening is you have an LCD screen, below you have the video buffer. Since your screen, LCD screen in your phone, doesn't have any intelligence because it's just a screen, so there is a video buffer which posts this data to the LCD. So the processor writes the data to the video buffer push it to the LCD. So this will be very useful when we talk about device clouds. So you will really recall what I'm saying right now. So there is a video buffer, it's been posted there, and I open a Java applet that just reads the video buffer through my USB cable. That is why I switched on the USB. And there are different other features which you will not really be using it, and I will try to pull up something which is required for being a mobile tester. And for example, go there. This is my application manager where you will really play around. You will install and uninstall apps, and all those things will be here, and you can check your size of your app, and you can clear data from there. Like if you see, I have clear data, and I can uninstall the app, I can force stop the app, and so I'm going down now. So same way I shown you the accessibility there in the iPhone emulator. I'm showing you that there is accessibility here as well. You will not really use it much, this accessibility option. Stay awake is like the screen will never sleep while charging. That is, if you are using some app, you want it to stay awake, the app has to stay awake, you will use that function. And here you get this show touches, and then you will select it, then it will show you wherever you are touching. That is how show touch works. So I just don't really want to take that out, so I just tap on somewhere, so it is show touches, and I take that out, and then I show pointer location. So you can see that x-axis, y-axis, the pointer location, it will really show you. And then I take that out. Show layout boundaries. What are the different layouts? Like, it will be really useful if you are looking at your own app. So now you can see the app, for example, Opera Beta layout boundaries. I see these are layouts. There are different buttons. You could see that in the bottom. These are the boundaries. So this will be used by you, like, and then let me just open the settings application again. Don't really look at my phone. Yeah. So I go there. I'll take that out and show GPU view updates. Here GPU is graphical processing unit, and there are advanced concepts that are coming up, that if you have a GPU, for example, famous GPUs, graphical processing units are say NVIDIA Tegra is one of the famous graphical processing units. Maybe I can Google that. NVIDIA Tegra is the graphical processing unit, so you should really read about that. So now there are advanced concepts that the GPU, what it really does, GPU really renders the graphical elements in your phone. For example, if you're playing a game, then it's so advanced buttons, advanced layouts is being rendered in your graphical using your graphical processing unit. So normal apps doesn't really have that right now. Since your GPU is been sharing the load, so GPU is like so if you don't have a good GPU, then your performance of this kind of apps will get reduced. Just show you. So normal apps doesn't have this kind of rendering. So this is so like the moment, see, if you see right now I'm looking at a water resource. You saw a water resource down there. So, and the water is actually looks so real. If you see, the water looks so real, meaning that the rendering of that water resource, they try to keep it so real, and they will use advanced elements for that. So advanced graphical elements like OpenGL ES or OpenGL libraries they will use, and also they will use oh, I just noticed that the screen was not there. Maybe I will just resume it and then I will play it again for you a little bit to showcase you the water resource. So advanced rendering happens through GPUs and libraries like, that is how it goes. And GPU and rendering. So this is what I wanted to showcase this. And these kind of buttons and this kind of rich rendering doesn't really happen in normal apps. Why? Because they really don't use OpenGL elements in their apps. Because if you use OpenGL elements to render a small button, for example, I'll show you a simple app, and okay, I'll just show you Nimbus. And simple app, for example, for this app, if they need to really use for that start one-to-one chat, if they really need to render use OpenGL for that small button in the top, so they have to really utilize that OpenGL libraries in their code. They have to put that in their code. In that case, obviously what happens is their size of the app shoot out. Like, so that is what, like, I'll just check the size of the app of Nimbus. Let me just open that. So this is application manager. I'm into application manager right now. See, if you look at Angry Birds, 53 MB. Angry Birds, another version, 53 MB. FIFA 14 is 41 MB. But file manager is 6 MB. And let me just check. What is the size of Nimbus? Nimbus is 24 MB. Still big. Opera is like the Opera Beta is 60 MB. And Opera Mini is just 2 MB. Meaning that they don't really use any graphical elements. They don't really care about the user interface very much. They just wanted to display very small buttons. That is why they are not using OpenGL in there. But Opera Beta, they may be using OpenGL or advanced rich rendering elements from OpenGL. So that is why the application size increases in that scenario. So that is how I really wanted to tell you. So this is where we started. We started with showcasing how you will really use this Android screencast. There we saw the settings app, and then I saw the GPU, and actually it took me a little bit further into this in GPU and then OpenGL and all that. But it will still help in another session, but because I don't need to really tell you all that in that session. Because so let me just go there, and then these are all the things normally. So you can see the animation and hardware overlay and force GPU rendering. If you really force GPU rendering here, it will accelerate your 2D hardware applications when you are using it, and this is how it goes. And so you will not really use it much. You only need to care about that this USB debugging on, and then there will be another. Yeah, so I just get a call as well, so I don't think I'll be picking up that. So I'm sorry about that. Looking like a strange number down there. So this is how it goes. So at times you need to really play around in the settings. In the point is, you will, when you are using the USB option and then you selected that, there is small tips to make sure that it works, because normally people try to connect and it will never show you the device. That is the first problem you will really face in this. So do this. First start the USB debugging on, then connect the cable, then connect the cable to PC or Mac, and then try Android ADB devices. That will work. That is a sequence. And then sometimes you will even though if you do ADB devices, it will never show you this device list, and then it will always show list of devices attached. That time you do this, ADB, show you ADB kill server. You do that, and then it will kill all the ADB services if it is running again in behind. So again you do start server. If you do this and then do ADB devices, that will help. This is how it goes. And right now if you see in this screenshot, they are issuing the ADB devices in rootme files in C, directly in C, just because whoever created this screen, they might have added the Android tools path, Android SDK tools path in the path environmental variable. So I'll repeat this again. If you go to your wherever you extracted your Android SDK, because you will be downloading the Android SDK from android.com, right? So if you go to your Android SDK folder, you will see two folders and one file. One is SDK updater and then one is Eclipse folder, another one is SDK folder. If you go inside SDK folder, you will see different folders in that: platforms, platform tools and tools. These three folders you will see. And open the tools folder. Inside the tools folder you will see adb.exe executable will be sitting. So copy the whole path, the tools path, and go to your environmental variable, user environment variables. If you right click your my computer, you will be able to get that environmental variables, advanced settings. And in the user environment variables, check the path folder exists. It should be there. If it is not there, create it, and make sure you create it PATH in caps, path folder, and the value is you insert the tools path. If you do that, and sometimes you need to restart the machine to take it effect. So if you do that, you can issue this ADB devices anywhere in the PC, or else you need to navigate there. So for example, in order to apply ADB devices, you need to navigate to the folder normally. For example, you need to navigate to that folder and then do it. So here if you see SDK and tools, inside tools ADB.exe is available, but you cannot issue ADB devices away from this. Inside tools only you normally used to do it. So if you need to issue that anywhere in the PC, you should put this tools path inside the path for environmental variable. That is one of the tips I normally give it to people. So right now what we saw in this particular session, I shown you the Android screencast, how it works. I given you tips to start USB debugging and in the developer options. So I hope you enjoyed this session, and this Android screencast normally very handy tool to record screens and so you will really enjoy this tool, and I see you next time, and thank you so much.